Hi. Welcome to Poland Daily Travel. We're in Zagan still, if you watched the last episode. And this is who I was looking for. This is a facsimile. It's not the real guy, obviously. He's not even inside there, covered in bronze, but it's Johannes Kepler, who not only wrote the first science fiction novel, but also did some pretty important discoveries. From 1628 to 1630, he lived in Zagan, okay, and was writing here. And in fact, worked in this building back here, or in a basement that was there when it was the town hall. He was born, actually, in what is now Germany in 1571. One of the most amazing German mathematicians, physicists, and astronomers. He discovered the three laws that rule the motion of the solar system and the planets. These are Kepler's laws. He invented the telescope, the astronomical telescope, which was named after him. He introduced a separator and decimal fractions. He was the author of the Rudolphine tables. I don't know what those are, but perhaps you do. And he defined a basic octahedron. His last years were in Zagan, at the court of the Duke of Zagan, Albrecht Wallenstein. So he was very at home in this here particular part of the world. It's like, I was trying to remember where we were. Yes, we were in Grudziądz, and this was a place where, what's his name? Copernicus, that's right. I was thinking of Newton. Copernicus there gave his, at a meeting, gave his theory of how coinage should work using coins and the monetary system. Anyway, Kepler had the following sentence, I'll read this, engraved on his tombstone. I once measured the skies, now the shadows of the earth I measure. Skybound was the mind, and soul, earthbound, the body that rests here. That's Johannes Kepler, who made some of his discoveries right here in Zagan. Now we are looking for another monument, which is about a totally different kind of person, because that person is a bear. Enjoy, I promise. His name is Wojtek. Watch this trailer, and we'll come back with the story of Wojtek the Bear. You're not going to miss this, because he actually served in the Polish army. Yep, he had a rank too. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Okay, here's a statue. We saw Johannes Kepler, so we go from the profound to the absurd, but wonderfully absurd. I mean, it's such a Polish story. It could be written by Gombrowicz or Witkiewicz, the story of Wojtek the Bear. Now, you may or may not be familiar with Anders' army, but this was the Polish army which was left and escaped to Iran from the Soviet Union in the beginning of the Second World War. They got away from the Soviet army by heading through the mountains of Iran. Well, there, one of the soldiers managed, in the Second Army, Anders' army, managed to trade for a little bear cub. The bear had been born in 1942, which is the time they were there. And he traded for this bear from a little girl, a little shepherd girl. So then the bear stayed with the army. And of course, he became quite popular. He became sort of mascot of the group, and in fact was given the rank of private. Now, they didn't pay him with money, because this would be, crass. This would be rude to pay a bear with money. What's he going to do with money? They gave him extra food, which made him very happy, apparently, according to the story. Now, so Wojtek then rose in rank slowly as he moved with the army. And of course, you know, the Battle of Monte Cassino. Well, in the Battle of Monte Cassino, he was an important part of the army, as the story tells it, because he was carrying heavy ammunition. That's why you see this big shell in his lovely paws, because he was, in fact, carrying munitions, but presumably in a pack on his back. I don't think he was walking upright with shells in his arms. It wouldn't have been as effective. At any rate, this gained him the rank of corporal, and probably extra rations, even more rations, because he was working hard. So he stayed with the army all the way to Bologna through the Pennine campaign after the capture of Monte Cassino, in which Poland, the Polish soldiers of Anders' army, the Second Army, were of course very were essential, and eventually were the first ones to summit Monte Cassino. Okay, now the other thing is that the story doesn't end there, because that puts us only up to 1944, and up to the end of the war was 45. So what happened later? Well, not sure subsequently, but I know that he lived for a good long while. He didn't die till 1963, so that's not a bad go. He had 21 years, and he spent most of those years as an official corporal in the Polish army. So how about that? The story of Wojtek the Bear. Johannes Kepler and Wojtek the Bear, both remembered here in beautiful downtown Zagan. Doesn't get better than that, does it? What a duo. Unforgettable. I was just kidding when I said that Kepler was working in that tower, which is now the Ratusz Tower, because of the town hall tower. That was built in the 19th century, so Kepler couldn't have worked there. But he worked in something like this. This is a replica of the hospital gate and the place where he really did work, and that was his observation tower. I don't think this is to scale. It was probably bigger, but it doesn't tell me, and in the things I read, whether it's to scale or not. But I would assume the tower would be a little taller. Anyway, the Duke Albrecht Wallenstein, Wallenstein, who was, I was going to say Wallenstein, like in Young Frankenstein, was in charge here, and he invited Kepler because Kepler basically was short of money, and the Duke said, "This guy's pretty smart. He's probably a genius. He's looking at the stars and predicting eclipses and things like that. I'm going to give this guy a chance." So Kepler moved here to Zagan with his wife and child, and he was then able to continue his work under the auspices and the largesse, whatever those two things mean, of the Duke of Wallenstein. Okay, that's just a little addendum. I didn't want you to think. I was just kidding about the other place. That's the real idea.